Howdy folks, welcome to L2PS2 episode 6. I am ItZMuRdA if you are unfamiliar with me or the show. I've been playing PlanetSide since 2003, PlanetSide 1 that is, of course, PlanetSide 2 since the original alpha tech test way back when. We're coming along just over 2 years now, I guess. Wow. So I'm primarily an infantry player in PlanetSide. These are my four primary characters. Been around the block a little bit, no life, etc., etc. But I do play all three empires pretty substantially, pretty regularly. So I'd like to think that I have at least some experience playing the various classes, the various empires, various using the various weapons and whatnot, knowing what I'm going up against. A wild Jimmy Wizenhunt is in the chat right now. Finally got to meet Jimmy at SOE Live this year. Really cool dude. So thanks for stopping by and hanging out, Jimmy. Yeah, the titles aren't always consistent with what is on screen. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to whip them into shape for that one. But anyway, I'm gonna jump into game on one of these Emerald characters. I'm not sure exactly where I'm gonna play yet. See what the fights look like. The show, L2PS2, is kind of a all things infantry look at PlanetSide 2 and the thought process into the decisions that I make, the bases that I choose to fight at, analysis of the map, my loadouts, the classes, and so on and so forth. I try to kind of answer Q&A in the chat as we go, as well as give you guys some little bit of an in-depth insight into the decisions that I'm making and so on and so forth. I've had a few shows that were themed towards specific things. Others have just been kind of fly by the seat of our pants, play for an hour, and see what it looks like, and answer questions as we go. Always open to feedback and suggestions for future shows and things like that as well, and you can ask questions in chat at any time, and I'll try to answer everything. First thing people usually ask is the color of my map. It's not colorblind mode, it's just my preference. I have my friendlies set up as, well, I guess I was playing VS last, but I have my friendlies set up as gray and my enemies set up as two different shades of red so that I can still tell the difference between them. But that's just a preference for me. I feel like I can ignore the grayish white on my HUD, and red is always dead. So I don't have to worry about, oh, which empire am I on, or which empire is friendly or enemy. As far as the fights, I tend to look for defensive fights. That's my preference. So I'm looking at the gray hexes first, preferably outnumbered slightly. Medium-sized fight would be my cup of tea, but Indar is the alert right now, but only for another 6 minutes. Like, I'd love a fight like Haven Outpost if those numbers were flipped and they had 57 and we had 43, but we're probably pushing them out. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, just let me know. And we're gonna hop in here somewhere. Just don't know what exactly or where exactly yet. I think attacking Bital would be a bit of a mistake. Biolab's probably the last thing that I want to attack if I had to pick a base type. Crossroads or TI could be alright. Also, often check the reinforcements needed options here. They'll usually give you not only a direct spawn, even if you're not on that continent, but a pretty good idea of what's going on. Like, if I like Regent Rock, I can jump in there if it even lets me. I don't think I'm on Indar right now, so it's going to queue me first. That's kind of like overrun, right? 88% to 11% or whatever. Sometimes you can have fun in those fights still, but you're pretty much not going to take them back. T-Ray, I got to submit the BB decal to Player Studio. You can have me on next week. We'll go with the one day. I think a lot of folks are looking forward to that. Instant action's going to take me to Indarax. I don't really want to do that. Well, I can fly over. Probably could benefit from using a... where are we? What loadout did I make you, Fortuna? There we go. So I am using the directive carbine at the moment. It's not something I've gotten to use that much, but they've been pretty fun. Getting used to them so far. Nice. That's awesome. What about that? What if I want to take the cat and put it in Player Studio and, you know, put it in like the actual depot? What do I got to do? Because I know we're both of us, man, we're going to be rich just from that cat. A lot of people are going to buy it. So you let me know. I don't know if I can, you know, sneak it in, you know, behind closed doors, or if I gotta submit it along the Player Studio path.
You can still cut this out.
But I'm pretty sure everybody wants a giant BB face with their tongue sticking out. That's high quality, man. I like Reach Cat, but Reach Cat is low quality in terms of pixels. But alright. I'll let you know when I submit it, even though I'm sure you'll see it anyway. But we need giant BB faces on the side of our galaxies. Well, that's cool to hear, man. I'm glad that's shaping up. I guess I'll have to talk to Kyle when he gets back, or if he's not back already. So this is kind of, actually what I'm going to do is something that I don't necessarily recommend, unless you just want to have some fun at a tower for the last minute or so before it goes. It's just running light assault C4 shotgun, and this is oftentimes more enjoyable than others. But I actually didn't really want to have auto shotgun. Oh, I still have a have a Valentine's crossbow. That's how long it's been since I've used that loadout. That's funny. But this is me just kind of goofing around with only 30 seconds on this tower fight. BB is one of my cats. She's the one that happens to be on my stream quite often, so she's become a greater internet personality than I am. And she is one of the subscriber emotes on my Twitch channel. Wow, I never use auto shotguns. It is absurd how good that is. Anyway, all right. So much for that. TI alloys, and we might lose that too. I don't know if there's much I can do there. Grab a Tempest loadout. Yeah, I'm not usually a shotgun user. It's like the only time I use them anymore is in that shotgun C4 light assault loadout in towers, just because they seem very appropriate. Whoa. It's the Kudo chops. Anyway, that is exciting news, T-Ray. And for everybody else who may or may not purchase a BB decal, hopefully many of you will. Hopefully we'll get that in Player Studio here in the near future. I'm not sure what the pipeline looks like on decals, but I might just need to touch it up a little bit, get it submitted, hopefully in the next week or two. Using the God Saw right now. Again, not a gun I've used very much since I unlocked it, but trying to work on testing these out more and more. doing myself a disservice by strafing left and right with it. I know, right, Vonic? Now, if Starchild was doing this, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. Yeah, unfortunately, the stream titles for these shows have been not always accurate, so, but the schedule stays the same. So best to kind of just, you know, keep that in mind. Like 5 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific every Monday is T-Ray's show inside the Player's Studio, and then 6:30 Pacific every Monday is my show. Same with the other guys who are on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so there isn't a set release date for PlayStation 4 just yet, but the target is still this year, as far as we know. I got to play it at SOE Live, from what I could tell so far, so I'm sure they are well on their way to a finished product, or at least a shippable product, even if it's not being physically shipped, you know what I mean? So again, I'm using the God Saw at the moment, the NC LMG directive weapon, for getting 5 Axiom LMGs. It's basically just an enhanced, altered version of the default Gauss Saw. Not necessarily my favorite weapon, just something I'm trying to get a little bit more used to since I just picked it up. Extremely heavy damage per shot, but suffers quite a bit and on its accuracy while you're moving, while you're strafing, and so on. Normally the EM6 is probably my preferred long-range TR LMG, and the Anchor my preferred close range. On I don't know if I still have. I have an Anchor loadout. I don't think I have the EM6 loadout, or maybe I do. Well, this is kind of a weird loadout. Yeah, I don't even know what I was doing here. Phoenix loadout. But yeah, the EM6 or any long-range weapon, I typically run 1X, high velocity, probably forward grip. In that case, I was running extended mag. Who knows why? Compensator in the cases of LMGs usually, because the hip fire is so bad by default that not having the compensator is not really going to help you out. But some long-range options I don't use a compensator for if I feel like I might be able to hip fire them, namely assault rifles, carbines. And the close quarters, usually the loadout there would be some form of laser sight, soft point ammo if it's available, otherwise high velocity is still fine even in close quarters. Oh, he just kind of popped up there. Yikes. And I always run a 1X scope regardless. That's just my preference. I try to keep it consistent for my sensitivity and my muscle memory. But scope is largely, like I said, personal preference. I just would recommend keeping it rather consistent across the board so you get used to the feel. And on close quarters weapons, I usually don't run a barrel attachment. I find the suppressors kind of underwhelming, except for very specific circumstances. And likewise, you don't really want a compensator if you are planning on hip firing, because it'll just be counterproductive. I've participated in a few server smashes. For those of you that don't know, server smash usually happens Saturday night. Really large battle, anywhere from 200, 300 some odd players on either side. They've ranged from and pinning two servers against one another in a somewhat organized fashion, where there's outfits that will have a squad or two, you know, pre-selected as part of a, you know, much larger platoons playing for their server. So it's a pretty cool event. They're usually streamed these days on PlanetSide Battles on Twitch TV, so you can check those out. There was a Connery Briggs one this past weekend and a Connery Emerald one the weekend before that. I usually will play VS by default if I'm playing in them, because I'll be playing with Future Crew. But We've certainly had to play other empires as well, just depending on the situation. Or rather, I should say, I usually prefer to, but it really depends on the situation at hand. That was all sorts of bad. Unfortunately, I work on Saturdays, so I often don't get home in time to actually participate in them. But I have been in a few of them. There's some in-combat medkit usage, going to show how effective that could still be. Underbarrel shotgun on there. That's some mini-map usage, going to show how effective that can be. The mini-map and the medkits, two of my favorite things. So I definitely recommend running medkits most of the time, unless you have a specific reason to be running, like C4 or mines or something like that.
Generator repaired.
Kind of like they're pushing back a little bit. Instant. Oh, they're still up at C. Okay. Oh boy, harasser. Trying to get out of line of sight of him. Oh, he stopped. I don't have any medkits. Normally I'd be crossing the street with one equipped right now in case I took damage. There's a lot of guys in C. So, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask, and try to keep up with the chat. Maybe I should ADS there. I've got the chat enlarged on one of my monitors over here. It's taking up the whole thing, so trying to be extra mindful of it. At the moment, again, running light assault with the 1984 Tuna, the NC directive carbine reward. On these guns, you can only change the optics. The rest are kind of pre-selected for you, but it makes them kind of interesting. Normally I'd be running the same sort of setup that I was discussing about LMGs if I had a regular gun where I could change all the attachments. What I did just there is also something parts for playing light assault, utilizing those jump pads to then, you know, stop yourself midway instead of going all the way to that tower. One of many reasons why I think light assault's my favorite class to play. Just all of the different things that you can do that the other 5 classes really can't. Which is why I think light assault's inherently weak in, you know, head-to-head confrontation, but so much fun to play given everything else. Do you consider yourself the best player? No, absolutely not. I'd like to think that I've put enough time and research and so on and so forth into the game over all the years to, you know, be at some sort of a advanced experience level where I can give good advice and hold my own among the best of them. But the best? No, I don't. That sounds like such a cocky statement for anybody to make, I think. There's a lot of variables that go into that, but and there's a lot of really good players out there. Thierry, what are you doing to me, man? You can't answer your trollish questions. That's like on the level of French toast or waffles. I can't really pick one person like that. There's a lot of people out there who who I think are very good players.
Good work.
And even more so, some who are really good at one thing or one class or something like that, so that you can kind of put together into a all-star team. That's a bad drop at Crossroads. Can't be put on the spot like that, man. I can't leave people out. All the hate mail I'm gonna get for the people I don't mention. You know how it is. Oh, that's a Claymore. Alright. I may jump to one of the other empires. I do enjoy playing NC. The NC weaponry, I think, kind of resonates with me the best. I like the slower firing, harder hitting, accurate weapons. But this is a show about everyone. So if I see some decent fights elsewhere. Scourge would name names. Well, maybe. Depends. When he's in front of the bright lights, he's a little bit more of a normal person, a little bit less of a Scourge. Just jumping on TR here real quick. Let's see what this looks like. I always do that. I'm just trying to be respectful. I'm sorry. Construction site? No, that's not gonna work. Hatcher, maybe. Image so oversaturated. I don't know if that's what it is. Wow, did I not switch TR back? Am I crazy? I didn't. I have my gamma turned up slightly, not a whole lot. But it kind of may bleach it a little bit. Just really depends on the time of day, the continent that I'm on.
Generator stabilized.
Kudo and Scourge are very good choices. Good thing about the two of them too is that they both play majority of classes quite well, as opposed to just like honing in on one specific class or something like that. Like our boy Vonic over here. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think Vonic's one of the first, if not the first name you think of when you think of light assault, but it ends there. Oh, nice. No, I was complimenting him. Vonic's a good player. And an amazing light assault. Little known fact, I took Vonic under my wing some 11 years ago when he went by a completely different name. And he played Planetside 1 with me. He was in all three of my outfits, or all three of the outfits I was in Planetside 1. Now he's all grown up. That's bad. I don't even know how to allow you to, okay? Alright, using the track shot at the moment, the TR variant of the directive weapon. Oh, that was a great deflected grenade. Unfortunately, I'm not Vonic, so I'm not killing these guys. They're all set up on this roof. Jeez. Oh man. Alright, I'm gonna check out A point. Actually, MSWR, one of my favorite LMGs. Holy crap. I don't want to kill this TR. Jesus. Well, that's thunder was short-lived. This fight is pretty evenly popped. One of the larger, as far as scale goes as well. Which is kind of what makes it a little bit stale. It's kind of one of those fights where they hang on to even all 3 points if they're far enough away in this case, but aren't really pushing on the defenders at all. So it's, I don't know. That's why I like to be a little bit more outnumbered than this. Even if we still lose the base, the fight tends to be more enjoyable. Using the Cougar at the moment, actually one of my favorite carbines. Vonic will probably disagree with me. I just happen to like that TR has a slower firing, heavier hitting carbine choice. And it also happens to have really good innate hipfire accuracy, which you usually don't see in guns with those statistics. So you can throw a laser sight on it, kind of cover both ranges. It's still not going to compete with, you know, a Lynx or a VX67 or something like that in very close quarters, though. Should have went left first.
Show me what you're made of.
It's hard to scope that out with no dart there or anything like that. So you can hip fire at that range very, very well still if you need to. I have no cover right now. Oh god, grenades. Flasher spam and grenades.
Can't let this facility fall to the enemy.
Nah, shouldn't have unscoped there. Let him get the jump on me. Seconds or so left, can spawn again. Should probably be playing heavy assault here or something like that, just given the position of our spawn being up top over here. Oh, duck down. I really haven't used the torque much outside of VR and things like that, but it's another kind of interesting weapon with maybe an unusual pairing of stats. I wish the Bulwark was one of the options here, because this looks perfect to me. 60-40 pops, 24-48 on both sides. Like, that's kind of my ideal fight, as long as the fight itself follows through when you get there. check your instant action often with whatever your bind is. Mine's still home. I think it might be I now by default, depending on when you started playing, I think. Just to kind of give a heads up, see where you're going to drop, and then you can always cancel it. Good for getting around quick though. Using the default T9 carb right now, fresh out of the box with just the 1x scope and a forward grip on it, only 105 certs worth of attachments. One of the least expensive investments that you can get in a weapon for TR and still have a beast of weaponry at your disposal. Covers the mid-range for LMGs quite well. I also tend to run resist shield and advanced shield capacitor as my heavy assault lineup as far as that the suit slot and ability slot go. That's my preference. If you do run that, you have to just get used to popping your shield right before you begin battle, since it works as kind of a mitigation technique as opposed to an absorption shield. A lot of people use Adrenaline Shield and Nanoweave. And good news is that Adrenaline Shield is being fixed again with tomorrow's hotfix. If you haven't seen the notes that Higby linked, that David Carey posted on the official forums. So that'll go back to its original state, if that's your cup of tea. But mine has always been the resist shield, advanced shield capacitor loadout. Although I don't actually use advanced shield capacitor much outside of that. It's really only a heavy assault thing, since I think it synergizes well. Rocket primary with resist shield. I actually hit my 25th recruit with the Recruit Rewards program just the day that it came back, since I was stuck at 24 for so many months when it was offline. And for those that don't know, the Recruit Rewards program is back up and running. You can check it out at recruit.soe.com. And you can sign up for your own if you already play the game, or if you don't play the game yet, or you haven't played in over 6 months, you can become a recruit for somebody else by using their link to log back into your account. It really takes 2 seconds. They're in the process of revamping the program still, but they basically turned it back online with the old rewards and whatnot in place. I'm really glad that they did. A lot of cool free stuff for either returning to the game or signing up with a new account or bringing your friends to the game, so I like it a lot. You're welcome to use the recruit link that I have if anybody's interested in playing. I guess I can put that up, right? If anybody hasn't played in over 6 months or is looking to make a new account. But if you do have any friends that do play, I strongly suggest you ask them for their recruit code and get them some free stuff as well. If you are unfamiliar with what you get when you sign up for a new account on a link like that, you will receive a free light machine gun. I believe it's the EM6, the TMG50, or the Flare for NCTR and VS respectively. And I believe you also get a boost. And then you are linked with your recruiter for a couple of months, and if you do make any purchases, you don't have to make any purchases, but if you do, you will also earn your recruiter free stuffs. Nice, Betty. I'm not going to be attacking that bridge where it's going to be lost momentarily, but I guess I can spawn there for a minute. Should probably went light assault. I believe the VS used to be the SV-88, and they changed it to the flare, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm really good at dying to proximity mines, Bettys, and Claymores. That's like my thing. I'm just too aggressive. And if they're not spotted, like Q spotted, maybe I should use EOD HUD. Oh, there is an implant for that, but I usually don't find it being worth the implant slot. I typically run battle hardened if you're curious, although I will switch it out depending on the situation that I'm in. Oh boy. Often run marker on my hipfire infills, so I get a free spot without having the verbal, audible call-out. Often run clear vision if I'm doing something tactical, or if I'm using conch nades and I don't want to hit myself with my conch nade. Hold breath for sniping, so on and so forth. There's a few that make for a decent sort of situational implant. Yeah, I think the SV-88 was the original. I don't know why they switched it, but I believe they did switch it to the flare. I don't know if it was to keep the costs in line, cert-wise, or if they just thought the flare was a better fit, because, you know, honestly, the flare, the EM6, and the TMG would be my 3 recommendations for mid to long range LMGs anyway, so. But the SV-88 is, of course, still a very good gun. Kind of exposed a little too much right here. Another thing that I've mentioned in past shows, and if you've watched all 6 of my shows, I'm sure you've heard a lot of the same things, so I apologize for that, but I do really thank you for your support. But I try to, you know, give tips whenever they're relevant to what I'm doing at any given moment, so that you can actually see what I'm talking about on screen. But at the moment, I'm trying to make as little of my body visible to the enemy as possible. There I am, I saw that guy show up on the map, so if I'm shooting guys down here, I'm going to be way far on this edge, so that I'm only exposing, you know, my head or top portion of my body as little as I have to, rather than just run up right to the edge and be like, oh, I'm here for everybody to shoot my feet. So it's just things as they come. I try to, and those little tips and tricks and whatnot, you get used to them and they become second nature. It just results in better gameplay. I don't actually have the Butcher unlocked yet, so I haven't used it outside of test server. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? I'm assuming that's Nelson, even though I can't see your name, because it's white on white. But you're a white name with a turbo, so I'm going to say Nelson. This looks pretty done. Smash the redeploy key and start heading back to this screen to respawn fast. I'm gonna not. Okay, I guess there are still people there, but they're out in vehicles, sunders, and so forth. Maybe pop on over to BL4. I guess I need to get Scourge's Scourge's emotes. I have his sub, but I don't have the, I don't know what the heck the actual emotes are. It's a pretty good one. Yeah, you can, Kane. Which outfit on Culinary Emerald is the toughest infantry opponents? I mean, I can't really, like, pick an outfit there either. It's really hard to say. Oh geez, getting stuck again. I'd say when I'm playing on Emerald, I notice it most with AC and DA when I'm fighting against those guys. Oh boy. So that's where I need clear vision, just bombing at Congnate at my feet. Cool, Mayor, glad to hear it. But I only play Connery from the VS angle, so I don't often play against the future crew guys unless we're like scrimming or something like that. Oh, I'm so glad that they changed that hitbox. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's always hard to say who do you think's the best at this or that, whether it's a player or an outfit, because there's so many outfits out there with good players, and especially infantry play. It's just depending on what server you play on or what empire you play on, you don't really necessarily always get the chance to fight them. But I mean, if I start listing people, I always forget people unintentionally. So. Zaps and TIW brought some good folks over from in the Watterson merge. Oh boy. AC and DA have been really strong on Emerald for a while. Recursion, TRG, TXR on Connery. I mean, there's a ton. Yeah, I miss FNO, man. I really do. Command Center was my favorite show on all of the televisions, and FNO was my second favorite show on all of the televisions. And they both don't really happen anymore, unfortunately. Completely understandably so, but I do miss them. I really always enjoyed tuning in. But we do have a lot of cool shows. Even if my show's not cool, a lot of other people are doing cool shows. Pretty much every night of the week, at least weekdays, and potentially getting into weekends in the near future here, so that's exciting. More things to tune into. Hopefully we'll see some command centers though pop up here and there, even if they're not consistently once a month. What's going on, Cons? Good to see you, sir. Oh, jeez. I think I jumped off there when I did. Oh, no more medkits, that's bad. Trying to get the, so there's a guy in the point and a guy still on the roof unless he jumped off. Just trying to loop back around on them. Yeah, he's still up there. I think that was him that just died. Oh, Mag Rider. Carve's not so great at hipfire. That was dangerous.
Check your fire.
Oh boy. Oh, I'm pretty sure I just hurt them both. Good thing our guy won. I'm gonna dip out of here too. This is on the side of a little bit too small of a fight for my liking. Have I ever tried the 2x scopes? Yeah, I actually used to use them in certain loadouts. If you look at some of my early YouTube videos, I have them on there, like my first conservative aggression video when I was using the NS11. I was using the 2x there. There was a time where I was trying to make them work, and I enjoyed them. I just was noticing inconsistencies and switching back and forth between the 1x and the 2x, since they have separate sensitivities. So I, committed to the 1x and kept it like that, and I just noticed an improvement in muscle memory. Some people enjoy swapping between them and they get used to them. Others enjoy just sticking with a 3.4 or a 4 or a 2 or whatever. That's my recommendation. There's nothing wrong with the scopes. I just, when I was switching back and forth too much, loadout by loadout, I think it was causing me more harm than good. So I decided to just ultimately go back to running 1X across the board. Is there any gun you don't aim to head with? Not really any one gun in particular. I mean, like when he said shotguns, that's a reasonable answer, because you want to get all the pellets on the body, really, for the most part. Not on the body, but you want to get more pellets to hit rather than less pellets hitting. I knew that was a dumb idea. But, no, I mean, you pretty much want to prioritize the head. I kind of shoot for the neck, it's just my nature. I think it still pulls headshots with recoil, and it doesn't have me shooting above the head either. My headshot rate is not as high as some people, but my accuracy, I think, is pretty damn good, comparatively. So, I think that's just a result of more shots on target, because I'm aiming for here, and, you know, anything going below is going there instead of going above and hitting nothing. But I'd say that's pretty standard for most weapons. Sometimes in the case of... Apparently this is just a really bad idea. Sometimes in the case of hipfire, depending on what gun you're using, how accurate it is, you'll care about getting more shots on body. There's a lot of guys on this roof. Yeah, that was dumb. Bulwark's one of my least favorite bases, honestly, because you get stuck in this area where like only the defenders are, and then these two buildings only the attackers are, and it's like there's not an easy in between. I wouldn't mind playing some VS for you guys so that there's a little bit of balance here. I don't know if there's any VS favorable fights going on here, but I'd like to get one of each empire. Whatever, we'll just log on, we'll see what it looks like. That's part of it, right? Not everybody has all three empires to choose from, so we'll pick the best fight out of what we got. How often have you been weapons locked? Almost never. Maybe once. I'm trying to remember, when I was like doing goofy stuff with vehicles, but considering how little I do use vehicles, I think it's like once or never. It's not a lot, surprisingly. So we're taking Vital East over here, but I'll jump right in and fill Scorpios. This is the Araxium SMG. My favorite of the new Araxium weapons are the SMGs. I like the mid-range component while still being monsters at close range. Unfortunately, these guys are camped way in. That's borrowed time right there. I'm not gonna get much to happen. So yeah, you still have quite good hipfire here, and exceptional ADS capabilities until random light assault strikes in front of you. Oh, I just took some damage so that it's gonna light me up. I should not be unstealthed in front of the teleporter room. Maybe if I get on here I use this cover. Still not really enough cover. See, like when I'm hip firing there, I'm focusing more on getting shots on target than I am shots on head. If it's stabilized, if you know the target's not moving all that much, whatever, then of course you're going to prioritize the head. But that's another reason why I think my accuracy is higher and headshot rate is lower, since I'm quite a fan of hip fire and often do that whenever I can. Kind of playing the outskirts. They can shoot out of either of these spawn rooms, but miraculously somehow have not killed me yet. Trying to make sure I have substantial friendly frag grenade. Nice. Substantial cover one way or another, regardless which angle I take. That base is going to be capped. I can spawn there just for the heck of it, but I don't think I'm going to do too much. I don't even know if I'm going to get back up the hill from here. Yeah, directives are something that I'm a fan of because I love achievements and things like that in games. But at the same time, you kind of need to sort of play them as a progressive goal, objective-oriented, moment-to-moment gameplay over time, though. Not something that you're gonna set out to complete in one sitting or anything like that. Otherwise, it kind of just gets frustrating, or you start forcing certain things that aren't necessarily the most enjoyable. I was doing that for a little bit when I was finishing my exceptional directive. So now I enjoy directives. I have some 23, 21, 30 points. I'm sure Anathul has more points than me, who's in chat over here. But I think that's a decent amount of points still. But it's kind of just things that I work on over time. I make conscious decisions as far as the weapons that I pull from loadouts and stuff like that. But it's not like, oh, I have to force just this one item or this, one directive or whatever. And I try to work on many over time. Kind of how I always did with Araxiums too. I have probably almost 90 Araxiums now, and it's almost always been just a very gradual thing. 3,500, nice, man. I don't know if you've got the most or not, but I definitely haven't seen somebody with more than that. If I played one character, I think like I'd be more inclined to just go balls to the wall directive points. Just because I'd be working towards like actual completion of things. Not like, oh, I just finished Force Recon, but this character is only bronze, or you know what I'm saying? That sort of a thing. But I am glad that they made them account-wide for the points. Yeah, I don't think anybody has it yet. Kraken. At least as far as legitimately finishing the directive. But I do believe it's still planning on being changed, so it should become more... Oh, I totally forgot that I had Hornets. Oh, that was not the entrance that I wanted to make. Is ejection seat still broken, or was that just bad luck for me? Unknown. Might still be broken. Because that would have been good if it landed properly. Bulwark, can't get to. I can drop here again, but yeah. I mean, I've been enjoying the Force Recon tree. I think I'm much further along on some of my characters than others. Just kind of doing those extra little things like spotting more, killing deployables more than I used to. That's the type of kind of gradual, progressive stuff that I enjoy. But if I was to, like I was saying, just like go, it's Clipdo. If I was to just go after after a specific directive and just force myself to obsessively spot everything I see, and then I'm getting myself killed because I'm doing that, it would just get irritating, I think. So rather work on it gradually. Yeah, I normally light assault to safely get out of those. Let's see you, Clipto. Fool me once. Oh, jeez. Let's get his executive on. Yeah, it could have been server side, but I don't know. Usually, oh god, when I actually make it out and hit the ground, the server thinks that I made it out also. But ejection seat has been broken at some point. I haven't used it in a little while, so I'm not sure if it still is. But one of these recent patches did break it. I see you in your camo. Alright, we're just about at our 30 minutes, and I've totally forgotten that I have codes for you all. So, golden guns on the screen. Oh, I clicked it twice. There it is. Have fun. My apologies for not getting those out sooner. I have to see if I can restock on codes for next week's show. I'll do a EXP boost, so keep your keyboard ready in a minute or two before we close out the show. But I think that is pretty much it for these fights. I didn't play each empire exactly the same amount as the next, but we get to play each of them still, nonetheless. We enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll sit here for a minute or two, do some Q&A if you guys would like, or you know, just hang out with the chat as per usual. And yeah, the show will be same time, same place, same channel next week, Monday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. As I had mentioned before, if any of you guys have ideas for specific shows, like I had done editions on specific empires or whatever, as opposed to just doing this general broad overview show, let me know. I kind of enjoy the seat of the pants sort of impromptu, whatever happens, and we adapt to the situation depending on what it looks like at that given point in time. I feel like that makes for a decent live stream, as well as the Q&A and stuff like that. I'm going to throw the other code on here for what it's worth. And but if there is something you guys would see that you think would make for a decent entire hour-long show, let me know. Yeah, not like do nothing but Valkyries next week. That would be a bad suggestion. I was thinking about it, and I just want to make sure that there's something compelling. I can't say, okay, I'm only going to do this, and then it's kind of boring to watch, or there's not a good fight for it, or it's not good for me, or it's not good for the viewers. So if you guys have any ideas or anything like that, let me know. Otherwise, the show will continue as is for now, and we will go from there. Yeah, my streams will be back up. There may be some conflicts with Future Crew League related practice nights and stuff like that, but I will keep you guys updated. Normally, my stream on my channel is Wednesday through Saturday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern at the very least, supplemented by this stream over here. Tuesdays are kind of hit or miss depending on what we're doing, what's going on, but that may change, like I said, if there's specific practice days that I'm now going to have to devote different times to. But I will keep you guys posted. I always update the title of my stream, unlike this one where I can't update it, to let you guys know what's going on, if I'm going to be delayed or late or whatever for a given show, as well as the little schedule box down below. So the codes are along the panel on the screen itself on the bottom. That was always my favorite way of doing them when Command Center used to do it. I know there's not a perfect way to give them out, but at least that way you don't have bots that are taking them due to copy paste. So that's how I've done it in the past. We can mix it up. I'm gonna try to see if SOE will supply me with some new codes for future shows. Anyway, since I've burned through the ones that I got for these ones over these past 6 shows. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. And I will be back on my stream this week over at ItZMuRdA.com. I really appreciate everybody's support and follows and all of that. And be sure to tune into the other awesome shows going on this week, pretty much every night for the next 4 nights over here on the PlanetSide 2 channel. So thank you guys for hanging out, You have a good one. I will see you next week, if not sooner, over on my stream. Thanks again. Take care.